All right, guys, you have not missed anything. As you could see, Kang Lee still hitting a few more warm-up shots here. It is 8 o'clock on the dot. I have to think these guys are going to be lagging it up any second now. I'm joined once again by Joey Ryan.
Hey, what's up, Jeremy? I'm really excited for this match. I've been busy today. I haven't had much time to sit in the box with you, so looking forward to this. And we saw Kang a little bit earlier, and know he's got a three cushion background, but solid player. He really didn't give Michael Yednag many opportunities in that earlier match, and he's playing against a guy who kind of seems like he looks young, but it seems like he's like 75 years old as long as Hunter Lombardo's been around. So, uh, he's just one of those guys who's just been, a pro level player for a very long time. And I tell you what, when I was in Tucson, I watched Hunter Lombardo hitting spot shots. The guy can hit some spot shots. So if this comes down to a shootout, I'm picking Hunter.
Yeah, so this is actually the third time that we've seen Kang Lee, second today, but we watched him last night as well on the stream here. So he's certainly familiar with table three. And yeah, you mentioned Hunter Lombardo looks like he's about 20 years old, but I think he's in his mid 40s, if I'm not mistaken, uh, from from the Florida 727 Fargo, just one of these workman like players, plays in a lot of professional tournaments, gets in the cash quite a bit, but just goes about his business so quietly, not really flashy at all, just hardworking, kind of like reminds you of like a Jeremy Sosi kind of player, but just flies under the radar and plays a real good game.
Yeah, fresh off the TV table, the mainstream table at Billiard TV, uh, Roberto Gomez just took down Aloysius Yap. Two straight sets. It was really close there at the end, but he got it done.
Yeah, so real nice win there. Aloysius Yap not out of it yet. That was a winner side match. Roberto Gomez secures his spot in the last eight of the winner side, so will be one of the players in the last 16 redraw that will take place midday tomorrow. There's a couple rounds that will be played out in the B side tomorrow to determine the remaining players in the last eight. This is the last round of tonight, the 8 o'clock matches. There's a couple more matches going on around the room, but we do have our final eight winners side determined. We can name those off for you guys once again. It's been a few minutes since we've done that, so let me pull the bracket back up for you guys.
So What
Meanwhile,
table? What
go
table
ahead.
number is this, Jeremy?
Three.
Okay, great.
All right, so your final eight on the winner's side. And once again, there is a redraw for the last 16. So these players have already secured their position in that. Clint Kachi, Oliver Zolnoki, Victor Zelinsky, Konrad Yushizhin, Alex Kazakis, Mario He, Roberto Gomez, and Mika Immonen, who we just watched uh, defeat Francisco Sanchez Ruiz in a shootout a few moments ago.
Oh, Mika won that?
Yeah, kind of out of nowhere. FSR was playing really well, controlling pace. And Mika actually made two tens on the break in the second set and then one in a shootout.
Oh boy. Yeah, I caught some of that match, and at the point where I caught it, you guys were mentioning how Mika just seemed like really down and out, and so I thought for sure that he would end up losing that match. So he came back and won. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so it's funny, Joey, because it's not really like a down and out with Mika. It's kind of like always this like frustrated, cynical body language that he has. So you really almost can't even read into it too much because it's kind of just how he always acts. So, but yeah, just the match seemed to be going in favor of Sanchez Ruiz, and a couple racks turned it around.
Hey, Tom, I just shot you the link to the bracket there. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you joining. Guys, if you, whatever page you're watching us on, make sure you follow the page. That way you'll get notified when we go live. Because if you've noticed today, we've been starting and stopping the streams and, just trying to get everything cleaned up and looking nice for you. So if you're following on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to that channel. And we really appreciate all the support. Just Jeremy's been working really all day on this, along with Melina Mike, and just trying to get you guys more action to watch. Tonight is like a pool fan's dream. There's like so much going on tonight, and we're just one little part of it. So trying to get you guys some cool stuff to watch. Tonight is like a pool. Oh, that's what I sound like, Jeremy.
Sound check.
Sound check. Sounds horrible. Oh, okay. So Kang breaks the balls here, and the 2-9 kind of gets tied up over there, and he's looking to see if that's going to go. I apologize for the shaking, guys. I reached out to some people that I know that are out there. Apparently, there's a table there that the tripod's on, and I guess the table's not too stable. So as people sit down and touch the table, it ends up shaking the table pretty good. He's trying to figure out if he can make that 2-9 combo here.
Yeah, so for anybody that has not seen Kang Lee with us in some of these earlier matches, a 699 Fargo from New York. So a real strong amateur level player. And he's looked good. The matches that we've seen, he's looked really strong.
Yeah, that didn't go for him. It was a tough look there. And this is an interesting predicament here for Hunter. I'll be curious to see how he plays it. I don't know if he can get enough top on this ball. He's going to be jacked up over the 8, first of all. Second of all, can he get enough top on this ball to put the cue ball over by where he just pointed his cue? Because of the position of that 3 ball. So it looks like he probably can. But
Just
this
roll
is
it in.
yeah,
Lag
this is
it
a
in.
very missable ball here, especially for your first shot, but he hit it nicely.
Made it look easy.
Yeah, I talked to Hunter a little bit in Tucson, and we talked about maybe getting him on the podcast soon. And it's a pretty good conversation. We both lived in Florida. He was living in Florida, I was living in Florida, and we never met when I was living there, even though we were in a few events together. And so it's funny, if I knew then what I knew now about the podcast, I would have been a little more of a social butterfly at these events. But sometimes I just see these guys and, not really talk to them that much. But now I'm making it a point to talk to as many people as possible. Kind of came up a little weird here. He's got to make that 5. He made it dead center of the pocket, though.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the bracket now, and it looks like there actually is only 2 matches in action right now. Let me take a look and make sure that's correct. I think, yeah. So this match here, and then on the main table, you can watch Kristina Tkac versus Pijus Labutis from Lithuania. Of course, Mark White on the mic over there doing a great job. He's been joined in the booth for a good part of the day by Tony Robles, who does a great job as well. So check them out. You can watch the main stream at the Q Sports International website. There's a link for that. You can go to Q Sports International on YouTube or World Billiard TV. I think it is on YouTube.
I think they changed it. It might just be Billiard TV now. Let me double check.
That would be simpler because it's also on the Billiard TV channel that you can watch at Distro TV. There's an app for that or a website, depending on what kind of a device you're watching on. Yeah, so mistake there for Hunter, scratches, and ball in hand for Kang. He's going to pocket the 7 in the lower right and stun up to move this 10 out away from the 9, and wants to hit the 10 a little bit on the high side. He doesn't want to be jacked up straight over the 9 here to shoot the 8.
Yeah, you are right, Jeremy. World Billiard TV on YouTube is where you can catch the action.
Executed that one nicely. He's going to be able to roll this 8 in and have a shot on the 9. I would imagine he wants to go to the rail here and then back out. Make sure to get a little bit of an angle on this 9.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward here.
Except
Yeah.
he's a little bit more elevated than I expected. I thought he kind of had. Oh
Oh,
my
yeah.
goodness.
Wow. Yeah, it didn't look like he needed to elevate like that, but I guess from our angle, it was a little tough to tell.
Yeah, so for me, if I have the right side of the cue ball available there, I'll play it with inside just because I don't have to jack up.
Yeah, as long as you can keep your cue flat, right? You're not going to masse
Yeah.
the ball. I agree with that. Man, Hunter got a reprieve here, and he looks like he's in good shape to take this one to nothing. He looks like he's got just enough angle to kind of stun over off this 9.
I think
Kinda
he'll actually draw this one a little bit because the stun can go kind of straight towards us. Oh, he's going to stay right below it. Okay. You were right. He definitely stunned it. I was just afraid that the stun took him a little bit to the side pocket, but that was a good shot. I mean, the way he played that, you got to get the speed really good, Joey.
Yeah, but, it's like we talked about, he looks 20 years old. He's been playing pool for about 172 years, so I'm sure that shot's come up quite a bit.
Yeah, in 172 years, you'll have that one a couple times. He's just going to get older and older as this match goes on.
I mean, he really hasn't aged, to be honest with you, Jeremy. Like, when I was talking about living in Florida and competing in events with him, that was, 15 years ago, and, he looks exactly the same. Although I seem to remember his hair being a little more blonde. It's got a little darker. Hey, Steve Wagner, what's up? Thanks for joining. Hey, Alex Javier, thanks for joining.
Yeah,
It's
so
our pleasure, man.
as we mentioned, this is the last match of the night, along with Christina Tkach versus Labutis over on the TV table. But this will resume tomorrow at noon with some B-side matches.
Oh, scratch there. Gotta control that cue ball. That's gonna probably cost him here. It looks like Kang has a nice track to make this one ball and come off that right side long rail and down to the 2. And even if he gets straight in on the 2, which would be not optimal, but the 3 is such a hanger in the corner. You could leave the cue ball right where the 2 is, the angle he's looking at right now, and he can make the 3 and work the cue ball over toward the 4 as well. So I don't
Yeah.
really see. Yeah, I
Well,
don't really
first,
see any. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I was going to say on first glance, the 6 ball looks pretty tough, but with the position of the 5, you can kind of get to the short side for the side pocket. It also looks like it passes the 8 to the lower right. So not much of a problem because of the position of the 5.
Yeah, it's a good point. You can stop on the 5 and have that. Yeah, see, normally you wouldn't want to be straight on a ball like this, and it's not ideal. But with where the 3 is, as long as you can get a little bit of low on your cue ball off of this, and maybe stun it off the rail a few inches, then he'll be able to get under the cue ball a little bit and be able to make the 3 and kind of slide over for the 4. Let's see if he can do that. Just like that. Very nice.
Yeah. So like you said, he just needed the bottom of the cue ball here. It didn't really matter how far he was from the 3 as long as he was off the rail. He'll just pinch this around the backside of the 5, try to get close to the rail here for the 4 in the lower left-hand corner. And like we said, most of the work is done in this rack once he gets good on the 4 and the 5. The 6 really not as much of a problem as you would think normally.
Oh, he did not. Okay, that worked out, but it looked like he didn't really stroke into that ball the way I thought he would. Just kind of more glided it in with some outside English and narrowly missed the 5 ball. But he should be in good shape here. And, Jeremy, it looks like unless he draws back another 3 feet, it looks like he might have to play a little delicate shot to get on the 6. Let's see what happens after this one. Yeah, so he can either track the cue ball out toward the 7, which is risky, or I guess he could.
I don't
Go
know
ahead.
that it's too risky, Joey, just because you can make sure that you get to the fat side or the right side of the 7, and then worst case scenario, have a back cut on the 6. You're never going to be hooked, right? And where he is on the 5, this is pretty simple to control, I think.
Yeah,
Oh, he went
unless you do
into it.
this.
Yeah, that's gonna be fine. I think he intended that. I think that was a decision.
I don't know. I don't think he meant to hit those balls, Jeremy, but that did work out. Okay. If he did, that was pretty brilliant because I never crossed my mind.
Yeah, I think I'd have been playing into the 7 there for sure. But like you said, came out smelling like a rose, and he's in perfect position here to draw level at a game apiece here in the first set.
Yeah, guys, we're at 8:15 Eastern time. Um, I'm in Arizona, almost the West Coast, but we're on Pacific time this time of year. And so it's 5:15. People are getting off of work. So do us a favor and hit that share button. Share it on whatever page you're watching it on. Make sure you follow the page. Let people know about it. If you're in any pool groups, post it in there. There's probably a ton of people out there that would enjoy watching this match who maybe haven't heard of Kang Lee or haven't seen Hunter Lombardo play in a while. So if you guys could share that for us, we'd really appreciate it. Kang's in great shape here, Jeremy. He should just kind of stun off one rail here and be dead straight on the 10 in the corner, and then he'll take this one down.
Yeah, question there in the comments. Somebody asked how old Kang is. Joey, a great thing for Fargo to work on next, and those guys work as hard as anybody in pool. But I would love it if there was a little bit of a player profile connected with the Fargo app there, where you could look a guy up and see, his age and maybe a little bit of his public record there.
Yeah, that's true. I'm actually trying to do some research now to figure this out, and I got nothing. AZ Billiards has profiles on players, but I don't think it gets. I don't think you'll find Kang on there. Could be wrong.
I'm on it. Birthday in 1991. So 30 years old.
Hashtag math is hard.
Well, I started to do the math and then I remembered that I was born in 90 and it made it a little simpler.
Oh, I guess Nate Minham might be back in the commentating booth with Mark. Troy, New Jersey pool player, gave us that info. And Troy spelled it Nate. Nate spells it Neighd.
Yeah, and how does that, I'm actually curious about that because I looked at the bracket and his name is Nathan on the bracket, so I'm wondering
Right.
how he
I,
got to that.
I was actually going to give him a hard time about that because it's almost like he invented a new way to spell his name for notoriety.
It appears to have worked.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gathering quite a following.
I'd like to give a shout out to my boy Troy, New Jersey pool player in the comments there. I think that's my buddy Troy Bolden, and he's been on it every time we have a little bit of a question or need some help for somebody to keep us updated on a couple things. He has been on it all day long, and that's a big help. It really is. We try to be on top of everything in the booth, but there's so much going on, so much to pay attention to.
Wasn't that the main character in High School Musical? I have a young daughter who watches that.
Oh,
Troy Bolton, I think was.
oh, okay.
Anyway,
This is Bolden with a D, but
this is going downhill quick. But while you were talking there, Hunter fouled, and so Kang's going to have an opportunity here.
and the score is 1-1. I'm sorry, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say that because Kang definitely got out that last rack.
Troy says it's not my buddy Troy. All right. Well, still, we appreciate the help in the comments there, then, sir.
Your choice from South Jersey, this choice from North Jersey. It's a big difference.
Oh, that's funny. I'm not sure I like the way he said that. It sounded like he doesn't like me, actually.
Don't take it personal. Gotta have
Oh
thick skin
man.
to do this job, Jeremy.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so this is interesting. He's relatively straight on the 2. I don't know if he can glide the cue ball between the 10 and the 8 here with like a little stun. If he can, that might be ideal because he's going to want to work the cue ball back over towards where the 5 ball is to get a good shot on the 4. Yeah, he did. Might have come down a little. No, he'll be okay.
Yeah, and you just come below the 5 here and then back out off the rail, right? Don't try to get too perfect
Yeah,
and
if you get too cute, you're risking the scratch or hitting the 5 and getting stuck behind it. I think you're right, and he kinda put his hand there, below the 5 ball, so I think he's kinda aiming to come back below the 5 ball here and take a little bit tougher shot on the 4. Just like that.
yeah, that's
This
a
is
nice shot.
Yeah, this is one of these, if you stroke it pretty good with some top on the ball, you're just gonna kinda work the cue ball off that top rail and come back out between the 9 and 6, and you're sitting pretty there. And you wanna keep relatively straight on the 5 because that angle off the 6 is pretty nice to kinda work the cue ball around.
You don't think there's I think he might pinch this into the 9 actually.
Yeah, it looks like he is gonna try that. I don't love that.
I
Guess
think
that works.
sometimes when you're at the table, it's just sitting so perfectly to play a shot like that that it's more natural to do that than it would have been to roll it in.
That's a good point. I think I read somewhere that Kang lives in New York City.
Yeah, it definitely says New York on Fargo. There is a town on there, but it's not a town I'm familiar with. It could be somewhere right around the suburbs of New York City, I suppose.
Yeah, so he maintained a nice little angle here. He's gonna come around at least 2 rails. The only thing here you gotta watch out for is, um, digging in too far on this ball and maybe scratching the side. It's a little tough to do from this angle, but he certainly doesn't wanna flirt with that 10 ball and hit it on the wrong angle and get it in the way here. So here's that side pocket, and he just barely missed it. Yep, so he's in good shape here. I like drawing back to the rail here and shooting the 8 in the side. I think that's probably the safest play. It's gonna give you a nice easy shot on the 8 in the side, and you can just roll up for the 9. So I just check the angle to make sure you're gonna maintain that good angle. It looks like he's going high, coming 2
Yeah.
rails. Oh, wow. Yeah, I wouldn't have done that, but that's interesting. Now he does have a billiards background and, 3 cushion. So maybe he's used to hitting 3 rails, Jeremy. He just doesn't know how to not hit 3 rails.
Yeah, looking strong here. He doesn't look intimidated, and he's not a big underdog in this match. It's a slight of a favorable matchup for Hunter, but not by a lot. There's not a ton in it, and he's looked good all 3 of the matches that we've seen him so far in this tournament.
Yeah, and like I told you before, I've seen him at every one of these events now, the US Pro Billiards Series, so he's dedicated to trying to, compete in these and compete against the best players, and, so you're right, this stage is not too big for him. And I saw him there from basically, dawn till dusk, right? As soon as you could get on the tables, he was there at the tables, and he'd stay there all day long hitting balls, practicing. Good shot there.
Yeah, nice out. That's the second time we've seen in this set Kang Lee able to take advantage of a scratch from Hunter Lombardo. Both of the racks that he's won have come that way. So let's see if Hunter can work on staying in line. They both come because he got a little bit loose with his cue ball, had to try to come with a recovery shot and not able to get it done.
Jeremy, it looks like the schedule is kinda spread out here. Like, they only have 2 matches going on right now. They have a bunch of matches still, scheduled for tomorrow already, and I wonder if, like, just the rhythm of the tournament, you know how some tournaments have a really nice rhythm where you're up and then you play and then maybe you have an hour rest and you play again? Like somebody like Hunter, if he hasn't been playing a lot, and it's almost like he's struggling to get back in gear here. Let's see. Hunter, kinda see where he trickled out on the brackets. Yeah, so he last played 8 hours ago, and he beat Warren Pianko. That's a good win.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I thought it was a little bit weird that we were watching that final 16 round of the winner's side there when we were, because on the schedule here, they're playing 2 rounds of B-side action tomorrow, and then the final 16 redraw will happen midday. And so those guys that we saw win in this last round of matches will not be playing again until tomorrow evening at that 5 o'clock window, I think. So a little bit interesting there as well. You could almost have waited to play those matches until tomorrow morning and just been rolling with the B side here to end today.
Yeah,
Um,
I wanted to cut you off, but I also wanted to let you finish, so I didn't. But it's a very tough predicament. Like you'd think you break the balls and the one ball's hanging in the side pocket. There's like nothing that could go wrong. But he had a really challenging shot to get over on the two ball there from where his position was.
yeah, it's so tough when you have a ball hanging. It's so tough if you're in a spot where you have to push out and the ball's hanging. It's just really tough to pull back on the reins when it looks like an offensive opportunity.
I wonder if the 6 passes the 10 in the bottom right. What do you think about that, Jeremy?
It looks to me like it goes.
Okay. Yeah, you've been commentating all day. You're in dead stroke commentating. For me, I'm
Yeah.
looking at that and I'm like, I just can't tell.
Well,
But
and this is the first time that we've done it without the camera moving around for every match as Hunter misses another ball.
wow. He kind of just tried to feel that one in, and that one cost him. I told you those side pockets are tight on this table. I played on these tables, and you have to show the table a really good deal of respect, stay down on the ball, and hit it center of the pocket, or you're going to run into problems.
Yeah, I wonder if he just wasn't accurate with his cueing on that one because it was kind of that shot where he's trying to pinch it in with some outside to hold the cue ball, and it looked like it just didn't kind of throw the ball at the pocket the way he wanted it to. But yeah, another mistake. Very, very sloppy set here from Hunter to this point. 2 scratches and then a miss on a relatively easy shot there. And more importantly, not just a miss, but letting Kang Lee get away with a scratch of his own there. Absolutely have to be able to punish your opponent's mistakes if you're going to play at a high level.
Yeah, he's playing like that 6 ball goes all day. But does the 7 ball go in the same pocket?
I don't think it needs to. I think he might want to pinch this and come around the 7. Maybe not. I don't know. If it does go, it probably is more simple to play it that way, I guess. And that is what he's playing. So it must go. What's your day look like tomorrow, Joey? Are you going to be at it tomorrow?
You know, we're gonna figure out a way to do this. Are you working tomorrow, Jeremy?
Nah, I'm available for the beginning of the day. I have to go run a tournament and play in a tournament, so I can do the morning session.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we'll make it work. We'll figure it out. I know Molina's not planning on going anywhere. He actually leaves in a couple days for South Carolina for that big Omega event out there. Nice shot here, good speed. Well, a little fast. We talked about these tables being quick. That looked like it was rolling around perfect and then overruns by about 8 inches.
Yeah, didn't miss it by much. This is still a shot that he's gonna make.
He's few mistakes by Hunter, missed ball, a couple fouls, and Kang's taking advantage of each one. Hey guys, we got 172 people across the platforms that are watching. We really thank you guys. I'm really curious to see where you guys are from. Obviously, we know where Troy, New Jersey pool players from. But if you
He's
guys
not
got
my
a second and you're near
he's
your keyboard, let us know.
he's not my buddy.
You ever see people's names in here and you kind of try to guess where they're from, like Kamikaze VX? You know, where's Kamikaze VX from? Tokyo? We got Florida. MKWD28, thanks for tuning in. Robert Olson, Vancouver, Washington, not Canada, not British Columbia. Larry Harris is in Indiana. Nishant from New York, he says, go, Kenny, go. Yeah, Ken goes by Kenny, from what I hear. Scott Johnson, Greensboro, North Carolina. I played out there one time in a big tournament. It might have been a Viking event, and I played on this. Tell me if you know this. Tell me if you know about this table. Who was that? Oh, Scott Johnson. It's a room that has a table up front, and it's a ridiculously tight AMF table. I played in a ring game on that table. It might have been 12 years ago, 13 years ago. We got somebody from Dan from Indonesia. Travis Adams from Las Vegas, but originally from Battle Creek. Hey, my buddy Jeff Hatton. Awesome guy down there in Somerville, South Carolina. Washington State, Bella. San Jose, California.
Zion's V, a good player from New York City, watching with us, probably pulling for Kang, you'd have to think.
Heck yeah, Zion's a heck of a player, heck of a straight pole player. Everybody up in New York seems to play that game well, though. Alex Javier from Davenport, Florida, originally from Puerto Rico. I had went to Culebra Island and got the worst sunburn of my life in Puerto Rico. Infant Terrible from Austria. Great pool players out in Austria for sure. Ortnell from the Bahamas.
Joey, you look like you could get sunburn if you left the lights on too long.
That's true. Yeah. No, I thought I put it on and I laid out and man, I got so sunburned. It was crazy. Robert Dorsey from Central Louisiana. Debbie, Southeast Ohio. Crescent City coming in with Michael Sullivan. So cool to see this, Jeremy. It's like when, it's like what technology allows us to do nowadays and be able to communicate with people from like Loey Awesome from Mexico. Oh, Scott Johnson was bartending at that place. Yeah, Scott, the funny thing about that place, Shooters, I traveled down there with Mike Davis, good friend of mine, and I got in a ring game on the AMF table, and this dude came in that looked like, you know how you just see a guy and you're like, that guy can't play pool. Well, the guy pulls a house cue off the wall and walks right up to Mike Davis and asks him to play for $20 a game, right? And so they're over there playing for like a couple hours. I have no idea what's going on. And I walk up and I say, "Hey, Mike, how much you up?" And he's like, "I'm stuck 200." And at the time, Mike Davis was the top pro. And I'm like, how does this dude just walk in and have a house cue and get you stuck $200? They're playing even. So Mike grinds and grinds and grinds and finally breaks even with the guy. But apparently the guy, had been down on his luck for a while, but was a heck of a player. And it's just funny. Mike's seen him a few times since then, too.
Wow. So a chance here for Kenny, as we just found out, to try to close this set out. What a shot.
Very
he hit
nice.
That so pure.
Yeah, he did, and he's in perfect position now.
So as this first set possibly comes to an end, in that last match, we had a great conversation with me and Melina Mike, with a lot of guys in the audience chiming in on the Moscone Cup coming up. But I'm curious to see, guys, this is the third Predator Pro Series event that we've seen. So you guys that are out there watching, you've seen a lot of these streams. What do you think about this format? Is there anything that you would change? What do you think could make it better, or do you think it's perfect and you'd like to leave it exactly the way it is moving forward? I'm curious to see these guys' thoughts.
Oh boy. I went the safer route asking them where they're from. Stand back. the, from what I've heard from the other events that we've done, Jeremy, it seems like most people are in favor of longer races. But what I would implore people to think about is that we're all pool players, right? How do I get my wife to come upstairs and sit here and watch a match? Is she going to watch a race to 120? Is she going to watch a race to 15 even? And I think that's what CSI is going for with these events. Shorter races, make it exciting. 10 ball in the break, which, I know that's probably the most controversial of the rules, I think, because it's rack your own with a triangle and the 10 ball counts on the break. It's a little rough. Hey, Zion, you're welcome, man. Thanks for tuning in. All right, that's the first set. Hey, Robert Dorsey, I like that idea. Best of 3 races to 5. That matches what Alan Hopkins does at the Super Billiards Expo. And I always found that was a pretty fair format. Of course, it was alternate break. Used to compete in that every year. Yeah, the 10 on the break is rough.
Yeah, I think maybe for me that would be the only thing that I would change is go to WPA rules, have the 3 point break rule, and no early tens. I think that would be it for me. I love this. I'm okay with the best 2 out of 3 sets. I don't need the shootout for my money. The shootout, I'm sure, is exciting for a lot of people. It doesn't do a lot for me, if I'm honest. I would rather see guys playing it out on the table.
I
So I
like the
like
shootout.
I like the
I'm
2 out of 3 sets. I wouldn't mind seeing 2 out of 3 races to 4 even. I think the race to 4 is there's enough you see enough in a race to 4 to kind of figure out which guy played better. It's not super long, but if you're gonna do 3 sets, I still like it at 4.
So I like the shootout, Jeremy. I just think it adds an interesting element. And when I competed in the Tucson event, it was so cool to watch all the professionals kind of sharing notes about different strategies they had for the shootout. How they would do a half ball hit, where they would place a cue ball, hit it with speed, hit it without speed, hit it with English. And it just introduced an interesting dynamic. But what I would like to see an adjustment is I'd like to see it be like a soccer shootout. I'd like to see it be 5 rounds, just like soccer. I think that would be kind of cool. Oscar Dominguez actually, a little misstep there from Kenny, and he's going to leave. Somewhat good opportunity here for Hunter. He's got to do some work here with 3 ball. But I'd like to see, or what Oscar said he'd like to see, is something where it's like a race to 8. But if it got to hill, that's where you do the shootout. What do you think about that?
The only reason I like this one better is because it's easier. I like how you get the reset after you lose that first set 4-0, 4-1, and then the guy that won the first set is not off the hook. Like he's still every single shot, every single rack is still important. I love that part of this dynamic. And you see it too because there's a natural inclination to kind of relax a little bit after you win that first set. I mean, it's something that all of us struggle with when we're playing sets in a challenge match. It's so much harder to win the set when you're the one that's up the first set. For whatever reason, it's just so hard to care as much as the other guy that's trailing. And so I love that dynamic of it for me.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. That's actually a good counterpoint to the 2 out of 3 sets, right? Because I've played in, like I said, the Super Billiards Expo was like that, and I played in that every year. And you'd win the first set, and if things started going bad for you in the second set, sometimes you mentally kind of let up a little bit and say, well, that's okay. I'll just regroup and come back the third set. Well, no, it's not like that. It's like you got to regroup and win a spot shot challenge. Nobody wants to go to spot shots, right? So that was a good effort there by Hunter, but just didn't get into those balls enough. And now he's in a world of hurt. He's going to probably kick 2 rails at this ball and just soft kick it, I would think.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Tough to get any kind of separation here. Um, Really tough one to judge here, Joey, especially on a table that's kicking and banking a little bit shorter than you're used to.
He judged it well.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. Don't think that 3-6 is wired up to the corner. It looks low to me. But Kang's gonna have a pretty good safety here, I think.
Can he work the cue ball between the 5 and the 4? If he can, he's got a
I
great
think
safety.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's exactly what he's doing.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
great shot.
Because the 5 ball could impede some kicking angles there too.
And that 3 appears to be frozen, which is a big deal on this shot because you'd like to kick this one softly and just nudge it up past the 6. But that's a lot tougher to do when you have to make sure you get that cue ball to the rail after contact and avoid any kind of a double kiss on the 3. You're
Yeah,
not
he
going to get the
may
hook if you do
actually
that.
yeah, he may actually have to go up top and try to play to actually pocket the ball. I'm surprised he hasn't really looked at that. You know, from the position of the cue ball, it's kind of like almost the same angle that you would use from pocket to pocket. You just slide it over a little and you hit that shot up top and you should have a good chance of pocketing the ball. Well, if it didn't re-engage the rail and it was already frozen, that would be a foul. But I don't think they checked to see if the
Yeah,
ball was frozen.
yeah, that's on Kenny. You have to go declare that ball frozen before he plays a shot there. But I think even with that, it looked to me like that 3 kind of rubbed up the rail and off of it a couple times on the way down.
What a what a difficult position here for Kenny to come back to the table to after he played a really good safe. So you got to give it to Hunter. He turned it around on him pretty quick, and now he's got the momentum here. You know, pool is a game of just constantly trying to control your emotions, constantly trying to, you know, keep a level head when things just go terribly wrong sometimes. It's like I used to think about there's times where you're just stroking a ball and something happens and you're like, whoa, how am I going to rebound from this? And here Kenny is playing great safe and then comes to the table after Hunter kicks a ball, leaves him behind the 4 with the 3 frozen towards the point where he can't make it. But then Kenny did a great job of keeping his composure, made a nice hit, and now he's left Hunter with a length of the table shot where to pocket this, he'd have to try a rolling, just a soft roll, I think. But it looks like he's going to look cross corner here, which, has a really good chance to get safe if he doesn't pocket the ball. There might be a double kiss in play here. I'm not sure. But I think that's the play. You play the 3 cross corner. I haven't seen him call anything yet.
Yeah, it depends on the line he takes with the cue ball, I suppose, or basically the pace that he plays the shot at. So I'm not sure. But a quick update on SVB versus JL Chang. Shane leading by 10 racks, 133 to 123, up pretty big for the day. Yeah, obviously they started even there, so that's 18 to 8 on the day. Wow, he just fired that ball right in the
Yeah,
hole.
yeah, sure did.
I never even thought about that.
No, I mean, that's just a very difficult shot to execute to, hit that ball with pace like that. You have to be deadly accurate. I feel more comfortable if I have to make a shot like that trying to roll it. But,
Yeah, and he's gonna play the 4-5 here. He figures if he has to play a combo and control the 4 off the 5, you might as well just take a swing at the 10 now.
wait, he's playing the 10 or the 5?
He's playing the 10.
Oh, the 10.
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
mean, if you have to play a combo to get out, you might as well play the 10, right? I mean,
yeah.
it's back to within a game, trailing 3-2 to Kang Lee here in the first set. Last match of the night here on an outer table at the CSI Predator Pro Series event here in Michigan. You can also catch out the main table footage over at World Billiard TV on YouTube. Commentary by Mark White and Nate Mindham of the Cue It Up podcast. There's a match going on right now between Kristina Tkach and Pijus Labutis from Lithuania. Let's see if we can get an update on that as well, Joey. I don't have eyes on it right now, but I'll see what I can find real quick. Looks like Tkach up 2-1 in the first set and at the table.
I got her in the chair, Jeremy.
Yeah, I might be behind. One of us might be behind. Not sure which. But you do still have it at 2-1 though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Looks like Hunter may be taking a short break, but he's back. Hey, Tom from Michigan. How's it going? Why aren't you there, Tom? Or are you there and watching this? You're sitting in the stands with Christina and watching this on your phone. That'd be cool.
No, that's really interesting, Joey. He actually went to the bag and got a little bit of a finger sleeve for the bridge hand here for the break shot.
Really? Had to grab the rosin bag?
Nah, you actually could see you slid it right on his thumb there on his right hand. You could see right now.
Oh, yeah. So, just looking initially at these balls, there looks to be some traffic here, but when you take a second to diagnose it, he's got a pretty natural shot from the 1 to the 2. He'll be able to get on the 5 from the 2. Excuse me. And then the 6-9 looks wired to the corner. So I think I give Hunter a pretty good chance of running these balls out.
Yeah, and on top of that, he's going from the 2 to the 5. So if he doesn't love that 6-9 combination, he can actually try to go into that 6 ball off the 2 and have the 5 hanging there.
That's an excellent point. It just looks so juicy there, that
Yeah, it does.
6-9. It's
I agree. It doesn't look bad as we're looking at it. But he's got a great angle to go into it right now if he wants. Let's see what he does. Nope. Took care to get real straight on this 5 so he can have the straightish angle on the 6-9 combination. I like to have an angle where my cue ball is a little bit to the left of the 6 as I shoot this combination. Just a little bit. Pretty straight.
Yeah, because he does want to work the cue ball off of that right side long rail to get over to have some kind of good opportunity on the 7. He doesn't want to have too difficult a shot on the 7.
Yeah, this is ideal right here.
Oh, had a leaker.
Wow.
That was, I don't know. That's surprising. But I told you yesterday, Jeremy, that the pro side of these pockets is a little unforgiving compared to coming down that long rail. Coming down the long rail, they'll scoot right in. Hitting the pro side, sometimes not so much.
Yeah, so if anybody out there is unfamiliar with what Joey's alluding to there, most of the time we're used to seeing these guys play on diamond tables. And when you're playing down the rail to a corner pocket, you really want to split that outside jaw of the pocket on a diamond. Whereas these tables are much more forgiving, rubbing in off the long rail as opposed to hitting that outer jaw. A lot of balls bobble.
So he hit this with a little pace, and he's taking a chance on where the 6 is going to go, but it's going to work out for him. Kind of like that.
Yeah,
If he can see it, he's kind of looking closely at it. I think he can see this. Might
I
have
think he
to
got a little bit fortunate, Joey. He played the 6 off the rail first, but I think he wanted the 6 to go over there, we could play it in the corner. He
corner.
almost
Yeah,
he almost missed the entire 9 ball, and so it went way out to the left farther than what he wanted, and was fortunate to have the side pocket, so
yeah.
well, looks good now.
Tom's an Evan Lunda fan. Yeah, he's a heck of a player there, Tom. He came down through Jacksonville and stayed there for 6 to 12 months before a lot of people knew who he was when I was living there. And, good young kid, played really well. And I matched up with him a time or two. And his game has really elevated. His one pocket game is off the charts right now.
Yeah, I got a chance to watch him just for a moment at the end of that Tyler Steyer match yesterday. He ended up on the wrong side of that, but actually, right when I tuned in, he was trying to make a nice comeback in the second set on Tyler. He won, I think, 3 racks in a row to come back from 3-0 to get to Hill and then lost from there to Tyler. So,
Yeah, he's got a real, as Kenny's about to go up 4-2 here. Symptomatic. He lives in New York City, I believe, and he's from South Korea. Former 3 cushion player. But yeah, Evan has a very laid back, relaxed demeanor at the table. Occasionally he'll roll his eyes, but he never really gets seriously animated. And I think people with personalities like that tends to help him in this game. We mentioned before all the ups and downs that you go through, and obviously you have like Mika we were talking about before, always showing his frustration on his sleeve. But then you got like the Ralph Souquets of the world that you look at him in a chair and the score's 8-1, you don't know if he's winning or losing. And Evan's got a little bit of that quality, I think, where he kind of keeps good control of his emotions during the match. I think so. Kenny won that first set, right?
he shouldn't be breaking right now, right?
Well, unless Hunter broke the first set first.
Is that how I may have misspoke earlier? Then I was under the impression that the loser of the first set breaks in the second set.
No, it's
Okay,
whoever didn't break the first set.
I got you. Yeah, that's my mistake then.
Broke the 10 ball in here. That rule that we were talking about. Didn't he also break the 10 ball in 2 times against Michael Yednak?
I think he made it once and hung it once.
Lil Chris, how's it going, man? Do we still call that a golden break when it's not the 9 ball? Should that be like a, I don't know,
A
blue
Bitcoin break or something. I
a
don't
blue
know.
tsunami? I don't know. Let's make something up. Yeah. Yeah, like we said, I think I posted on somebody's post today that I think it was Michael Yednak's post. I posted that in order of importance rules that I would recommend changing. Number 1, no 10 on the break, and then number 2 through whatever, anything else.
Maybe skip 2, 3, and 4 and just go from 1, no 10 on the break, and then 5, whatever you had next.
Yeah, Alex Javier, they count the 10 ball on the break. So that is a win. So Kenny is up 1-0 after breaking in that 10 ball. And again, I mean, as a pool purist, anytime somebody pockets a money ball on the break and it counts, it kind of leaves you a little uncomfortable. But when it's them racking their own in a triangle, that's when it could be really uncomfortable because like we were talking to Corey Dole out in Vegas and he's like, yeah, I think I figured out a way to make it every single time. So that was the fear. That's a nice combo from Hunter there. These balls look pretty good.
Yeah, somebody says Azul break like that.
I like it. This angle gives him a chance to work the cue ball up a little closer to the 2, making an easier shot. And the position of the 3 ball right near the pocket. Curious if he'll draw back behind the orange 5 just to give him a little more angle on the 3 to work with, or if he'll go forward just a touch.
Judging on the fact that he just walked down and looked at the angle between the 5-9, I would lean towards the second of those two.
Want to bet? Oh, you're right. He played it wrong. I would have done the other thing.
No, but you know what? He didn't roll it down past the 5. He stunned it out to make sure that he got some of that angle that you talked about. So
Yeah.
I
So
believe
obviously this is a big 9 ball here. He wants to avoid the 9 ball. So he took that out of play, stayed on that right side of the table.
I believe Labutis just drew level on the mainstream table 2-2, tied with Christina Takac. That was a really nice shot from Hunter. He really had to get into that cue ball very well to be able to drag it straight down that far, or to move it that far, but coming straight down like that.
Yeah, I see him kind of drawing over to this, our left hand long rail like this and popping out for the 5. And now it's academic from here, I think. Lee Vestal is from west of Seattle. I didn't know there was a west of Seattle.
Yeah, what's that? The Pacific Ocean, or
Yeah. Actually, there's isn't there an island over there? I don't know.
is Seattle may actually be to the east of that little like peninsula split off there.
Yeah, I think you're right. The west side of Puget Sound, I think there's something over there. It's actually going to make me look at Google Maps right now.
You guys give a second, temporary break in the commentary as the geography major brushes up on some stuff from 20 years ago.
Yeah. Ah, yeah, there is quite a bit of land over there. All of Olympic National Park is over there. That's interesting. Yeah, we got the communities of Bremerton, Port Orchard, Bainbridge Island. Oh, that ball rattled, but it got in there. Silverdale, Susquamish. You from any of those places? Lee?
Joey, you might be watching the last match of the night when you in the same stream you have commentators talking about geography in Washington and High School Musical. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was. Oh, that's funny. Oh, man. Well, Hunter gets on the board in this second set. The winner of this match is going to take on Tyler Steyer. That match will be tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern time on table 5.
Yeah, so 3 of the remaining 7 or so American players in this tournament in that same little section of the B side, only one of them will make it to the top 24, I believe it'll be.
That's unfortunate.
Top 16. So the winner of that match will be in the final 16. Tyler Steyer versus whoever advances here.
Yeah, we have Greg Hogue and Evan Lunda. They'll be playing tomorrow at noon Eastern time. Winner will face John Mora at 6:30 p.m. Fortunsky versus Ruslan. They are playing at noon tomorrow. That should be a pretty good matchup. And the winner gets Fedor Gorst. Let's see Hunter's break here. Oh, little bump and in the side pocket. All right, let's look. It looks like the 3 will go. Looks like the 4 has a pocket in the bottom left.
I don't think the three's as automatic as you say there. I think you might have to go off the five, which isn't a
Nope.
huge deal. It just means you need to get good on it because you have to transition to the four as well.
No, remember how that I was saying it take it off the long rail with the right speed the three's gonna go. I bet
Mm.
I'd bet a paycheck on that. One of your paychecks. Not mine.
No, no, I'll take those odds. That's a good question in the comments there. I have not heard anything else concerning the withdrawal by Ruslan in the U.S. Open. That's a good question.
No, neither have I. If somebody knows, let us know. Be curious. Did he play a match there
Nah,
and then
it
dropped
was
out, or he just didn't? Okay.
straight up withdrawal. Didn't play either match, and he played the week before in Vegas, and he's playing in this. So interesting.
Hmm. Yeah, the three goes. Maybe he got dressed in like a painter outfit and drove across the United States into pool room after pool room, beating people out of a couple $1,000s each city. Those states are done.
And this is why every pool player out there should subscribe to the Pool Player Podcast and the Booth Brothers on Facebook and Windows Open so that you know who guys like Ruslan Chernohov are when they stop by your local bar in a painter's outfit.
There you go. Yeah, he's taking a good bit of time and looking at this. So he's got to be very precise to make the three, which he also has to be pretty precise to get proper position on the four ball. If he feels that uncomfortable with it, he could go top on this ball and shoot the four ball up in one of the corner pockets up top. But ideally, he'd want to kind of draw back off this rail and get close to that nine ball. Oh, he did play off the five.
How much are your paychecks?
Well, he that was an option. He opted to play that way. Wasn't required.
Can he see this ball?
No, I don't believe so. He's looking at the kick now.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So the four ball was where the five ball was, right? So when he hit that the five ball caromed over, hit the four ball, dislodging it, moving it up table. So his cue ball got to where it needed to get to, right? But then he didn't account for the fact that the five ball could come out, hit the purple four, send it up table.
Yeah. Yeah. Tough to keep track of all the moving parts sometimes. That's why ideally you don't bump balls around if you can avoid it.
I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the camera stopped shaking as much. And I talked to our buddy Martin Sawicki, and he's the one that has the camera and the tripod set up there. And he asked me if it's any better. I'm like, no. And he's like, expletive. And then he said, I'm here. It's Thorsten. Now he stopped. I caught him really shaking his legs. So Thorsten was sitting at this table shaking his legs, which was giving a shaky picture to us. So thank you, Thorsten Holman, for not shaking your legs anymore.
Huh. Wow, he decides to play the intentional foul, ties the 9 up on the 8. Ball in hand for Hunter here. I think that 8 still goes in the upper left.
Yeah, but I don't think it goes on the side now,
It
which,
doesn't, yeah, it does not.
yeah. You know, if you're a hunter, do you take a chance here, try to pocket the purple 4 on one of the sides and maybe roll the cue ball into the 9 right now? That's an option.
I think you could. I think you could play the 4 to the right side and follow into the 9, and you know you're gonna hit the 9 on that route and have a look at the 5, not be hooked, but he doesn't seem he might be doing that the other way now. This would be
Yeah,
the angle you would play to drag into that.
I
I have
prefer I prefer your shot because what if he hits the 8 here or does this?
Yeah, I think rolling it, you really know exactly how you're gonna hit that 9 ball, right? From the way
Yeah.
he played it, there was a lot more risk involved.
The only problem with your shot, Jeremy, although I preferred your shot, is you didn't have a lot of real estate over there to kind of get a good wind up and stroke because you were kind of close to that left side long rail. But I do like that shot better because, like you said, you know the angle coming off of there, and you can direct that cue ball directly towards the 9 ball.
You know what? If I didn't like it from the other side, then I probably would leave it alone because the 8 did have a pocket and the 7's right there. It was realistic that he could get a shot at the 8. Um, and now he's scrambling once again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he missed the whole ball. It's going to be ball in hand uh, for For Kang, the intentional foul pays off. Right away, it pays off. He tied that 8 up on the 9. Hunter tried to play the breakout, gets hooked, and now ball in hand for Kang. A great job by Kang. You guys need to put that in your arsenal. Look for that intentional foul sometimes. It's really, really effective. Doesn't always pay off as good as it just did, but you have to notice how much care he took on that shot. When you go to do it, you better play it well. Otherwise, you're just wasting a foul.
Yeah, it's kinda like a dream the way that played out. We did a match in Vegas, I don't know, it was the same tournament, same style, 2 races to 4, and it was, Badr Awadali against, Shane Van Boening, and Badr, what people didn't realize, they've probably seen the video, he ended up getting Shane to 3 foul, but what people don't realize is that when Badr fouled the 2nd time, he was a foul ahead of Shane. So he intentionally fouled and pushed a ball up to surround the ball that Shane needed to hit. And instead of Shane just fouling back and giving it to Botter, who would have had to jump and try to land on the ball, Shane broke the balls open, hoping that he would have a better chance to get his good hit on his third, attempt there. And turns out he did get 3 fouled. It was a really interesting sequence. Somebody clipped that from our video and posted it up on YouTube without my permission. But I'm hoping to clip out that whole sequence with some narration and put a video out on it just to show everybody because it was really interesting and none of us caught it. Oh, Kang. He missed that one, but look at this. Are we going to see an apology wave? Yeah, we just saw it.
Yeah, I tapped the table a little bit there. He got a little bit steeper on that 7 than he wanted, so he had to dig in and try to get out of that corner to not get above the 8 for the side pocket. He needed to be good on that 7.
Yeah, if he got if he made that ball, his cue ball would have went way up table, and he would have been looking at 8-9 combination or safety. So it's just one of those things you try to do too much with it, right? That's you got to take what the table gives you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the second half of it. The first half is if he'd have took just a little bit more care of the shot before, he would have had the angle that he needed on the 7 to get good to the 8.
yeah. But I talk to a lot of amateur players, and I try to help them, Jeremy. And there's so often like you'll see somebody that needs to hit kind of like a stun shot off the rail, and they miss it. They overcut it to compensate and make the cue ball go where they want the cue ball to go. Look at this effort.
Mm, almost kicks it right in, but he can't get
Yeah.
anything to go his way right now.
But it does you absolutely no good to position the cue ball where you want if you're not hitting it to make the ball. and you see that happen an awful lot. And you're right, he could have played better position on that 7, but the way he played that 7, I don't know that the physics were there to execute that and keep the cue ball down the side of the table. Looks like he's playing for the corner here. See that?
Yeah,
That's
there's a
the shot I'm
great
talking about,
example.
Jeremy. That was like 3 or 4
Absolutely.
inches up the rail. It still went in. It's kind of reminiscent of a valley table. If he missed by that same degree on the pro side of the pocket, there's no way that ball goes.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, and we've seen it throughout for sure. Meanwhile, Kang going to take a 2-1 advantage here, already up a set, won the first set 4-2 over Hunter Lombardo. Hunter needs to get it together here. I really like this young man's game. He's been composed. He's made good decisions. Couple mistakes here and there. He's certainly human. He's a good amateur level player, right on the cusp of that low pro level. But he has really showed some class in his game over the course of the 3 matches that we've seen from him on our live stream today and yesterday. And leads here with the break. Shane leads 134 to 125 over Chung Jang Lin. And looks like Hill in the first set between Lithuania and Russia over on the mainstream table.
Hey, did we get Melina Mike back in here yet?
I know. I keep waiting for the video to pop up, so I don't know. I haven't heard anything from him yet. Question from Robert Dorsey in the comments there. How many players left? You are watching the round of 25 through 32 on the B side. So after this round is complete, they'll be down to 24 players and then back tomorrow to try to play to the final 16, I believe.
Some really good matchups lined up for tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. So, Jeremy, it looks like Mika is through to the round of 16, correct?
Yeah, all those guys left on the winner's side, they're already in.
Okay, so let's just run those down for people so they know what we have. We have a Clint Kachi, Oliver Solnoki. We have Victor Zelinsky, Conrad. Help me out, Jeremy.
Yushizhin.
Jushizhin. Alex Kazakis, Mario He, Roberto Gomez, and Mika Imanen. Those are already in the field of 16 for the redraw. Again, this is one of those tournaments where it was up to 64 players. I think they got 50 some, and then they played down to 16 double elimination, and then the final 16 is a single elimination. If you guys saw the U.S. Open last week, it's a very similar format where they played down to the single elimination. What's he going to do here? Almost looks like he got a little too straight on this ball. I think if he tries to play into the 7-3 here, I think he's going to miss the 2. That's my prediction.
Well, does the 2 even go to the side pocket?
I think it does, but I think he wanted to leave himself about 3 more inches to the left. Let's see if he can make it happen. Oh, he played safe. Oh, that's a good save. He would have liked to have been tight on that 8. If he were really tight on that 8, that would have been tough. But now Hunter's a favorite to hit this ball, I believe. And but if he didn't, then that's a very good 2-10 combo, especially with the 3 ball tied up table.
Yeah, and this is still tough for Hunter. I think he's going to have to go 2 rails here. The side pocket's huge for the 1 rail route of the 2. I think the 2 rail may be preferred anyways. You don't really want to make this ball. Maybe call the 10, hit it 2 rails. You got a slight chance to have a carom on the 10 with the 2 rail hit. Um, but it's not the easiest hit. You're hitting almost directly into a rail here. It's pretty tough to judge sometimes. P just able to take the first set hill over on the mainstream table. Needs
Uh-oh,
a
no
rail.
rail.
No rail.
No rail. Not even close.
And how many times has Kang Lee had ball in hand in this match? That's at least 5.
Yeah, I think Hunter will kind of look at that after this match and realize that there were too many opportunities where Kang came to the table, could put the cue ball wherever he wanted on the table. And yeah, hey Jeremy, I got a buddy of mine that I want to have pop in with us. It's YouTube sensation Lil Chris. Hey, Lil Chris.
Hey, Joey, thanks for having me on.
Hey, you're welcome. I don't know if you've ever met Jeremy Mason, but he's in here too. So say hi.
How you doing, Jeremy? I think I saw that he interviewed you on his podcast. Wasn't that correct?
Yes, that's true. You're one of the 5 people that watched that. Awesome.
I love how Joey's trying to take a crack at himself, and he just really like highballs my podcast in the same breath. It's so
No,
funny.
it's
Nice to
not your
meet you, Lil
podcast.
Chris.
Jeremy, it's not your podcast. It's just nobody wants to hear from me. That's all. I tried to warn you.
Oh
Just
my
for
God,
the sorry, I was gonna say, just for the record, that may have actually been the most viewed episode that I've had so far. So just to set the record straight.
Hey, Chris, I know you're just coming in hot, but tell me, what do you think he's going to do here? He's got ball in hand on a 2 ball, 3 balls tied up. What do you like here?
If he's got ball in hand on the 2 ball, I guess I'm surprised he's not going to try to maybe cut the 2 ball on the side and come off the short rail to break out 3. Aiming up the way that he's doing now, I would tend to believe that he's going to try to play safe, or maybe he can hear what I'm saying right now if he's going to do it, I think.
I forgot to tell you, we have a speaker there that they can hear everything.
It would actually be very weird because he's, we're pulling this feed from a live feed on Martin's phone, so he'd be getting the information about 45 seconds too late, probably.
It's funny you say that, Jeremy, because when we were doing this in Vegas, we had this set up on a match, and we were 10 minutes into the match, and somebody comes over to the booth where we were, and they said, they can hear you. And I was like, oh no, I didn't have my phone turned down. So they literally could hear the commentating. And the thing that really sharked them, is he going to scratch?
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Yep.
brutal. Wow, that changed everything. But they could hear me, but when it goes out on Facebook, there's a delay, so they were hearing the delay. But so yeah, Lil Chris has a awesome YouTube channel where he does a lot of pool instruction. He records some of his matches, critiques himself, things like that. So tell people how they can find you, Lil Chris.
Yeah, just look me up on YouTube, Lil Chris Pool Player. I've been at it now for about 2.5 years or so. I mean, I'm nobody special. I mean, I don't even have as good of a Fargo rating as Joey there. Jeremy, I'm not sure about your Fargo rating, but I do what
You're
I
good.
can to I do what I can to just pass on knowledge that I have, and from feedback that I've gotten, I just instruct in a way that allow a lot of people to be able to pick up what I'm putting down, and whatever they were struggling with, they don't really struggle with, or they have an easier time overcoming whatever they're struggling with, the way that I provide the advice that I give on certain mechanics of the game, different strategies of the game, et cetera, et cetera.
And one thing I'll say is Lil Chris was early on Pool Player Podcast. He came on and did he was actually our first industry edition interview that we did.
Yep.
And it's been a great relationship that Chris and I have had, because there's times where technically how to do things in YouTube or how to do things on video editing, I was just stuck, and I'd reach out to him, and there were several times where we'd log on together for an hour or 45 minutes, and he'd help me with stuff. And that's the one thing that, since I started my podcast, has been awesome about just meeting people who are just willing to help. And so, Chris was like, hey, can I come in, commentate a little bit? Come on in, Chris, because that's just the way we are, let's help people out and make sure people know about it. If there's people out there looking to improve their game, Chris's YouTube channel will help them. So wanted people to get to know you a little bit, Chris.
Thanks for the plug, Joy. I appreciate it.
Sure.
The Hunter's looking good here to finish this rack out.
Yeah, we're definitely rooting for a shootout. Somebody in the comments asked about a shootout. When they split sets, when somebody wins the first race to 4 and the other player wins the second race to 4, they go to a spot shot shootout. They get 4 rounds where they set up the 10 ball where it typically is in a rack, not on the spot. But then they alternate sides and each player takes a turn. At the end of the 4 rounds, whoever has the most made wins, and Hunter just butchered that ball.
Wow.
That was shocking. That was shocking. Yeah,
like that wasn't just a slight miss. That was a big miss.
Yeah, it's almost like he was completely out of rhythm or something. It almost surprised me how quick he shot that ball. I wonder how Kenny, which by the way, Chris, Kang goes by Kenny, we learned today from our awesome viewers. Wonder what he's going to elect to do here. Obviously, he can play the 9 up to that short rail up top, somewhere in the middle. He can bank the 9, take that on. I think I'd go for the bank here.
I'd go for the cut.
Cut in the corner?
I'd cut it to the corner.
I don't hate that.
But that's also why I'm not playing in these things. I would probably choose the wrong shot.
Well, I don't hate that because, whenever I'm between a bank and a cut, I think about the fact that it's one less variable if you cut it, right? If you cut it the right way, it's going to go in. If you bank it, maybe you didn't hit the right speed and the rail treated it a little different, or it just always adds a variable here. But I would bank it because I'm up 1 set and I'm up 2-1 in the second set. I just go for it, and he did. And you can still, leave a pretty difficult shot. And after the shot Hunter just missed, we'll see if he can regroup and pocket this. He's got a nice natural 2-rail angle to get back down for the 10.
Yeah, three or 4 if you count the third long rail and the short rail. If he's gonna, this is an easier shot to transition the cue ball than what he tried to do with an inside 2-railer. This is more natural than his last shot.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Especially, it's so funny because a lot of us guys that play about my speed, maybe about your speed, Chris, we have to play so many shots with like check side English because we spend so much time out of line trying to recover. Whereas these professional players, they play the percentages well, they stay in line well. And so they're almost more uncomfortable at times playing those inside English shots. Whereas shots like this, Hunter Lombardo is a huge favorite to execute that one.
Right. And this 10 ball to tie it up. All right, cool. So Joey, I was hoping to get in on last night's live stream due to the cue ball object ball last debate because you were butchering my analogy that I came up with.
I didn't like your analogy.
Because my analogy had nothing to do with looking at the instrument. It was, are you looking at the object that you're going to hit last, or are you looking at where you're going to send it last? So that's the cue ball object ball argument. And I'm certainly not arguing that one is right over the other because, like I said, I've always argued that since we have the ability to turn our head away from the shot, remove our cue from our bridge hand, bring it back, and be able to shoot the shot, you can use examples like that to argue that you could either not look at the object ball last or not look at the cue ball last. And so that's where you're going to hear that it comes down to personal preference. My only argument that exists within me as far as my personal preference is how do you justify where exactly you're hitting the cue ball if you're not looking at it last? You can say to yourself, I trust my stroke and everything else. Sure. But how do you guarantee it? And so that's the argument that I was saying with golfers. Golfers do not pick up their head and look where the golf ball is going to go before they strike the golf ball. They strike the golf ball first, then turn and look to see where the golf ball is going. Same thing with baseball players, except baseball is a little bit different. So there's an object moving at them, but the idea is keep your eye on the ball. hit the ball and then see where you're sending the ball at. And so that's the analogy that I was trying to use with regards to looking at the cue ball last.
All right, so we want to thank Lil Chris for joining us, and we'll see you. No, so what everybody missed here is I did a little coaching session with Mark White and from the Booth Brothers, and we live streamed that on my YouTube page. And Lil Chris was like, "Hey, can I come in?" And I was like, "Sure." And then I guess a 20-minute argument ensued between Lil Chris and Mark White about what ball you look at last. And since that day, I've been like, Lil Chris is crazy. You got to look at the object ball last. Look at the scratch across side. I'm like, he's crazy. He's crazy. And then I'm watching the U.S. Open last week, and Jeremy Jones is like, yeah, there's always an argument about what you look at last, but I look at the object ball last. And I was like, what? Did he just say that? And I posted online. I was like, did Jeremy Jones just say he looks at the object or the cue ball last? And I guess I got 100 comments on that. And it was this whole thing. And then we talked about it a little bit last night. But I'll tell you this, Lil Chris, this is 100% true. I've been playing pool for a long time, and I'm a decent player. Okay. And I went out the other day and I said, I'm going to try to look at the cue ball last. It was terrible. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Like, I mean, I couldn't even make a ball. And here's what I ended up surmising from that. Yes, I agree with what you're saying, that when you get down in position and you're aiming properly, that you can turn away and make the ball. You can do that. But if you're playing on tight equipment, the tighter equipment you're playing on, you have to be even more precise. And any millimeter of a difference there in where you thought you were going to hit the object ball and where you did hit the object ball is going to cause you to miss. Now, you're going to say, well, the same's true of the cue ball, right? Any millimeter, or maybe even less than that on the cue ball is going to cause different English and a different reaction on the cue ball. But I think with someone like me, I've been playing for a long time. I've been playing for 40 years. I feel like when I look cue ball, look object ball, look cue ball, look object ball, look cue ball, and then look object ball before I take that last stroke, I feel like I am pretty consistent with where I hit the cue ball. There are times where I think I'm going to hit it with high left, and I hit it and something happened and I end up being high right, but it's very rare. So
here's my chime in real quick on this, guys, is that I first of all, I don't necessarily think there's a right or a wrong answer, except that there is a right or a wrong for every individual. I think it's probably a left brain, right brain kind of issue. I think certain people want, it seems like a high percentage of people play object ball last. For me, it has nothing to do with what you're actually aiming at. It has more to do with what your brain does when you look at something else. So for me, as an object ball last guy, when I look at the object ball last, it helps me go straight back, straight through with my cue. And my alignment is what has already determined whether or not I'm right on the cue ball and whether or not I'm right on the shooting line. I don't do anything good with my eyes while I'm down, one way or another. I can only tell that I'm really badly off when I'm down. And I think that's the thing. There are guys that their brain allows them to look at the cue ball and still get a straight back through stroke. But I think the first thing they teach you when you take driver's ed is eyes as far down the road as you can go. And that's how you get your alignment. And I think that's why more people play object ball last.
Before Lil Chris's rebuttal, because I know it's coming, Kenny just missed a ball there in the corner. Looked like he had plenty of room, but he missed it. And so now Hunter's at the table in a key moment in this match. He's got a chance to go up 3-2 here in this second set and be on the hill to force a spot shot shootout. So now, Little Chris, the floor is yours.
Oh no, I don't have a rebuttal to that. Like I said, I do agree that it's personal preference. And after that, I just present, my arguments as to why I do what I do, and either you agree or disagree, and then we can just agree to disagree if that's the case.
Yeah, I have two exceptions. I have two exceptions where I will actually look at the cue ball last. And those are if I'm up against the rail and I only have a piece of the top of the cue ball to hit, I want to ensure that I hit dead center of that cue ball. And so I will look at the cue ball last after I've made my alignment. And then the second one is jacked up over a ball. I'll do the same thing because if you're jacked up over a ball and you don't hit center of cue ball, you're going to massé it. And Hunter just missed the 6, made it in the side, and left Kang in perfect shape to take control of this second set and go up 3-2.
Now with this rule here, are they playing that that Kang actually does have the option to give the shot back if he were hooked, for example? He's obviously not
Yes.
going to give this back because he has a straight shot at the 7.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah. So maybe more importantly, this is probably the most I've seen personally Hunter struggle in any situation ever. He's such a steady player, such a great fundamental player. This is really weird. The way he's struggled in this match, I've never seen it. I've seen him lose. I've seen people outplay him. I've seen people that have a gear that he can't really get to, but I haven't seen this.
Isn't that why they call it that's pool?
Yeah.
So, because I don't see anything special here. It just kind of just roll the cue ball so that way he can be underneath the 9 ball so that when he tries to roll the 9, it'll go above the side pocket and then just come slightly off to be straight in on the 10.
Yeah, he's in great shape here. Guys, it's not that I don't like seeing our faces, but I'm going to maximize this so everybody can see the full table here. Plus, I didn't do my hair today. So, Lil Chris, you have any cool new videos coming out? Any plans you can tell us about?
Nothing really, because I'm actually still recovering from being sick. Like I just hit the peak of everything like late Saturday, and like so like I'm on the very tail end of fully recovering. I had just recently did a live stream where I gave away a pool cue that I actually did a product review on, and then prior to that was me doing a live stream reviewing some of my APA matches. So I have intentions of taking that live stream of of those APA match reviews and then splitting them up into separate videos, so that way I don't have to do any post production. The work is already done since I did it via a live stream.
Nice.
And then I do have another pool cue review coming up here in the near future that I'm.
Can you tell us what kind of cue that is?
It's going to be another J Flower cue that because J Flower was the first one that I had done, and I have a couple more that I can actually do, but J Flowers are not the only cues that I have. I actually have some poison jump break cues that I can do reviews on. I actually have a 3-piece BK Rush that I can do a review on, and quite a few other ones. It's just another theme that I'm trying to add to my channel, which is doing like some sort of product reviews, not just on pool cues. I mean, it'll be on accessories too, like chalk, bridges, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, that's awesome. We got Snooker in the chat, says Little Chris sold me on the BK Rush killer cue.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, I think those product reviews are great because there's just so many great products out there right now, right? And so I'm the kind of person where I go by feel. And so I have no idea, if you told me pick a break cue, right? I just don't know what I would pick. And so if I watch one of your videos and see you talk about these various cues, it'll help me kind of make a decision ahead of time. Like, yeah, that's worth taking a second look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we miss a rack here, or?
No, I think they're taking a break.
Yeah, Kang's taking a break or something because Kang won the last rack.
This
Yeah,
isn't
that's what I
Hunter. This isn't Hunter post match frustration banging balls around. This is the guy's coming back. Let me get my composure. Let's
That's
figure
what I
this out.
thought, but Kang also was right there talking to him almost the whole time, so it was a little interesting.
Well, it is the last match of the night, so I don't want to prematurely end it.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure we didn't miss a rack. I'm almost positive that we had it right here.
Maybe they missed a rack. You ever seen that happen?
Not in a race to 4.
I've seen all kinds of stuff. I've seen people miss a rack, come back to the scorer's table, turn in the score, 2 hours later realize they missed a rack.
I have the YouTube feed up, so I can actually rewind this and see if they shook hands after.
Oh, that's a good point.
Kang made that last 10 ball.
I was watching for that. I didn't see that. I thought that Kang just stepped away, but then I was really confused when I saw him come back into the picture there.
Nope, they shook hands. So yeah, I guess that's it.
Oh boy. Hey Chris, Chris, did your J Flowers promo code expire? Someone's asking. Bill Barr's asking. He's going to buy one.
Unfortunately, it did. It expired at the end of August. I am working on that when I do my next J-Flower Q's review, that I have it reinstated for another month. But until then, it's currently expired.
Okay. So hang tight for that, Bill Barr. I'm sure you're following Chris along with 70,000 other people on YouTube. But yeah, so guys, this was our last match of the evening. I want to take a second and thank Lil Chris for stopping in, along with
Thanks
Jeremy
for having me.
Mason for his hard work today. Jeremy's been at it all day long. I don't know if Melina Mike's back or not. Are you back, Melina Mike? He's kind of been trying to get in and out. I don't know what's going on. I tease him all the time about the quality of his internet. It's probably what's happening here. Yeah, I don't think Mike's back. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching today. We really appreciate it. If you did want to support the stream in any way, there's some information down there at the bottom. We'd really appreciate that. We're actually doing a giveaway. We're giving away 2 Jam Up Apparel competition shirts that are customizable. You can get your name on it. And a $5 donation gets you 1 entry. $20 donation gets you 5 entries. So we really appreciate that, guys. And we will be back tomorrow with some more matches. So you guys have a great night, and we'll talk to you later.